when I started the English Defence League, so this was 2004, yeah, this is 5 years before the EDL, I organised a protest and I make these leaflets and I named the Pakistani gang that's doing the drug dealing, the heroin dealing, the pimping of young girls, the grooming. They were called the Gambino Gang. Not very original for Pakistanis, right, copying the name, but that's what they were called. And 3 years later, the national newspapers run a story on the same gang, saying that gang are funding terrorism and there's a link between the street level gangs and the terrorism and they fund each other. But when I made this, so when I come out against them, I was obviously target number one. I was young, we were the football group, and then we had all the Pakistani gangs wanting blood because I'd named them, brought 200 lads out. For that first day, the terrorists weren't there. They bottled it. They always do bottle it, if I'm honest. When it's been on, they bottle it. Yeah. When the English Defence League started, they bottled it. They weren't there. Yeah.
That's guerrilla tactics, right?
That's what they do. Then they come out in numbers. Then they come out in numbers and they get you.
So in 2004, you had printed all this up, including the gang, including the heroin and the grooming and all that. You had called it all out.
I called it all out, and if you watch on my Oxford Union presentation, I read the leaflet out and I show the front page of the paper. When I'd done my presentation, I went to the library and went back through the papers to get the leaflet to just show everyone, this is what I was saying then, yeah? And it was ignored, and I'd seen it. And this is where we are now. And this was, so by the time 2009 comes, by that time, I've had clashes with with all the drug gangs because they've all wanted to get me. They've smashed my mum's house up. I can't go out in Luton unless I go out with 30 lads. But that just become normal, yeah? And then by the end of a few years of battling, when they see you, so all right, you grow up from being 20 and you're all fighting each other. As you get older, so then by this time I'm 24, 25, and there's a soldiers' homecoming parade in Luton. And as the soldiers are marching through, I went down on a Tuesday morning and I stood there. And as I got down to the town centre, it was a homecoming parade for the Royal Anglian Regiment. And as I come down, I saw police everywhere. And I thought, what's going on? Like, yeah, we got a soldiers' homecoming, but there was quite a high presence of police. And then I saw about 30 women wearing niqabs, yeah? And then I started spotting the jihadists, Saif al-Islam. Remember, so lots of these are now dead. 3 of them died fighting for ISIS. Saif al-Islam's done jail for ISIS. Roger Ibrahim, I used to hang around with him as a kid. He was a convert in jail. He's now done jail for ISIS. So this group, they've all been dismantled now, but at the time they weren't. And I saw the police take them. And then I saw my town hall, the doors opened, and they walked them all through. And I was watching them walking through, thinking, what's going on? And then as the soldiers and their families have come marching down here at the back of the town hall, they took the Muslims right to the front. And then they spat at them. They spat at the soldier's mum's face. Now in this regiment, Scott Muntridge was from our estate, 26, he died. Michael Swain, 19, lost his legs. So you can imagine the feeling of a community. They're there to pay respects and then watch this. So when we saw this, people got angry, the police turned their batons on us. And I remember watching it that day and watching it all develop and being so angry because it's Luton and it went world news and all the they were shouting butchers of Basra, all the Muslims were. And then we found out, because there's probably about 60 or 80 of them. But then we found out, because they nicked my cousin, they nicked a couple of our lads that day. And then when they nicked them, we got the intel reports that the police detained 330 Muslims coming off the motorway. So they knew they were coming from everywhere to attack the troops. So they stopped the ones that were coming from outside of Luton, but the Luton ones they couldn't stop. So this happened, and then we found out that all the mosques were leafleted the week before, and that the police knew it was going to happen, the council knew it was happening. And this is the problem. The council knew and the police knew what they were going to do, but they're so scared of them, they couldn't tell them no. Now, if we said we want to protest outside a mosque or on an Islamic event, they wouldn't let us. Yeah? They wouldn't let you. So when we watched it, I thought, right, if they get away with this, if they're allowed to do this, what's next? Soldier's funeral? What's next? They're going to be going to graveyards? What are they going to do next? There has to be a reaction to this. The country has to know there's a reaction to this. The police need to know there's a reaction to this. So
how do you get out of a rat race? How do you create wealth not only for yourself, but also for the generations to come after?
I am absolutely amazed with the quality of companies that we're getting exposure to.
We go on to Zoom calls with the innovators and the folks who are building new applications in metaverse, blockchain, artificial intelligence, decentralized finance.
What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me.
We are focusing on early stage investment.
And the quality of people that we're getting exposure to, whether it be Dan Tapiero with 1RT, Jason Ma from Open, Yatsu from Animoca.
It's been a phenomenal experience thus far. It has far exceeded my expectations.
We are focusing on cutting-edge technologies.
I view it now as the best investment I've ever made. The upside, I view, is unlimited.
And as a retail investor, I would never get this exposure anywhere else outside of Investment Club.
See you in the Investment Club.
I set up a group called the United People of Luton, the UPL. And the first event was the community, my aunties, family, women. And we tried to get to the war memorial that they got to. And when we turned up on the day, hundreds of us, we had banners, we made it very clear, National Front, the Nazis go to hell, Saif al-Islam go to hell, Islamic extremists go to hell, we want our town back. In fact, on that first march, the second march, you can find it on YouTube, it was the first singing of, you hear now at demonstrations, we want our country back. Well, that's what we're all singing, we want our country back. It's going back to 2009, yeah? There was hundreds of us. But when we turned up, the police, I paid a cameraman, a wedding photographer, contacted a wedding, and I've done this because I know what happens, because I've seen it my whole life. But I wanted everyone else to know. I wanted the public to see the difference between how we're treated and how they're treated. So I paid this cameraman £450, and he's a wedding cameraman, and he must think, what's he? And then when he turns up, there's like hundreds of us, and so you just need to video with us, follow us, and video everything. So we walk down, the police come from everywhere, and then they stop us, take your shoes off, searching our socks, putting their hands in our pockets, cameras in our faces, what's your name, where do you live? So I just said, you didn't do this to them. On that Tuesday, when they went through our town hall, you didn't stop and search them, I watched you. There was no searching of them, there was no cameras in their faces, and then they kettled us. So when we tried to get to the town hall, they kettled and they didn't let people past. The police come past on a horse, they knocked a little black lad, they knocked his teeth out, Isaac, my mate, they knocked his teeth out, and they kettled us for 3 or 4 hours. Women were having to urinate in the street. And we were ready to blow. I was like, no, you let them get to the war memorial. Now we've turned up as a community to get to the war memorial. We're getting attacked by you, kettled by you, and treated like second-class citizens again by a police force which didn't do anything to the terrorists. So this was more, I said at that moment, which this was the first bank holiday in May, and 3 weeks later, so we have this demonstration, and then 2-3 days later, boom, 14 dawn raids. One of them was my mum's. So the police come through all the doors, and this is them trying to crush any resistance straight away. So what they did is they took anyone who was influential, young lads, because we were young at the time, so if you had a bit of a following or you were from an estate, because lots of different estates come together, they dawn raided them, and this is to scare everyone else. And when they went to my mum's, I weren't there, and they gave everyone they arrested bail conditions not to enter Luton town centre for 3 months, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So they banned us. Now, in the build-up to this first ever demonstration, I set up a petition. And it was a petition with 3,500 signatures. Before any protests, we set up a petition and we asked the council to use ASBO orders, anti-social behaviour orders. So in our estate, if 2 kids are continually causing trouble together, they get given an ASBO where they're not allowed to hang around together. So what we asked the council was, give this group an ASBO. Get them out of our town centre. So after what they've done to our soldiers, if my mum wants to walk past Don Miller's, these lot ain't there. And if vulnerable young men are walking past Don Miller's, these lot ain't converting them, yeah? Instead of doing that to them, the police come and done it to us. So next comes a second demonstration, and this is what gave birth to the English Defence League. Because the next demonstration, I rang the police anonymously, because the feeling was that strong. And you can watch the video, United People of Luton, Luton protest. I'd say 500 lads turned up. And I bought balaclavas for everyone. So when we met at the pub, I gave everyone balaclavas, and we all had no surrender. We had Luton Town t-shirts, and it said no surrender to Al Qaeda. Yeah, and I'd gone to all the different estates and met lads from other estates who we didn't even like. Yeah, I said, lads, like they're taking the piss. Unless we come together as a town, we need to stand up to this. Yeah, we need to stand up to the police, to the council, to all of them. They need to know that this can't carry on. So we all turned up that day, gave out the balaclavas. I rang the police beforehand, anonymously, and said, if you stop us, I'm just warning you, if you try and stop these lads, I'm giving you the feeling of the town, Luton's going to burn. I'm telling you, the whole town's going to burn. It's ready to blow. You could have lit a match and the town's about to explode. There was that much anger at what had happened, but then how we'd been treated as a community trying to have our say. Yeah, That's what it become about. It become not so much about what the Muslims had done. It became about the police response, the council response. And then we were sitting watching, Hazel Simmons was leader of our council. And after the first protest and the second protest, she's saying, these outsiders come into Luton. I think these outsiders, we're all Luton. There's 500 men chanting, we are Luton Town. Now, the imagery didn't look good, okay? Men in balaclavas charged through the streets. The police tried to stop it and couldn't stop it. They got run everywhere. And then everyone got to the war memorial, which is all people wanted. And then we held a minute's silence for our armed forces. But then the image was of hundreds of men wearing balaclavas standing outside our town hall with their hands up. That image went worldwide, yeah? That was the start of the English Defence League.
Okay.
That's what really gave birth to it. And again, what I'd done after that was that group, Al-Mujahideen, the terrorists, who weren't prescribed at the time, we just followed them. So I looked at what they were doing, Islamic Roadshow. They were in Birmingham, they were in Wood Green. We got about 40, 50 of us in the back of a van, and then we jumped out on them in Wood Green to put up their pace tables. And it was sort of like, I guess, instead of going looking for other football teams on a Saturday, we're thinking, get the terrorists.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.